Actually, I mean, we could do that. We could do it this way. Oh man. Oy. That's actually not so bad. It's not bad. What's up? What's up? Even if the general environment is more hostile to the spirit of church life, to Jew spirit. Hey, what's up, Erica? Psychologist. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? How are you doing? I am reading To Raise a Jewish Child. It's all about learning on how to raise a Jewish child, education, philosophy, how to instill certain things in your future kids, all that stuff. So. Be a Jew in your home and a man when you go out, as if being a Jew and a man are two separate aspects of the universe, independently of each other today. One is explaining on two separate strands of behavior. One say that. That's kind of interesting. LeBron, I think there's a lot of good books out there. I like The Way of the Superior Man by David Dita. That's pretty solid. The Torah, no, Torah is good. Atomic Habits is pretty good, honestly. I mean, it really depends. Like, I'm like, I don't really have a favorite book. It's just a matter of like what the topic is in regards to. I don't read many. I read only textbooks or like something I can actually learn from. You know. This is actually beginning to be a pretty good one. This one's making me think about the challenges in Jewish culture and in terms of family and leading a Jewish family and a Jewish life with your family. So it's pretty good so far. Right now, it's talking more about like in terms of identity. Um, yeah. Of their parents is being quite shallow, is making few demands opposing to this satisfaction and spiritual inspiration. It is to this her person's choosing on which they have been raised, that when they have become apathetic or openly hostile, however the rules quality with their to pass as an American is the response to a genuine spiritual yearning that is open to an infusion of real Jewish experiences. So that's pretty cool. There is also tolerance, but the differences in American law, tolerance for religious terms is presumably exists all along, manifests itself prominently in a person's right to not encompass an acceptance of different behavior. Distinct elements of the Jewish relations and Sabbath and Kushner we buried to their Americans to gain acceptance in America. Their Jews had to be sacrificed. Are you? What is that? What does that mean? LJC? Are you Tenajo? Tenajo. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Today is just what I've got today. There's also greater tolerance for other differences in American law, tolerance for religions, tolerance for the basis of all law, except for related persons' rights, his preference, spiritual things, and rules, and not encompass excellence. This is no longer the case. Services resulting from religious. As a plural society, it is no longer founded by Jews. Company management universities and all that is the indication of success. Make it in America has to be done at the expense of Egypt. Ah, that's interesting. That's a good one. Making economic conditions there are also associated as rarely, if at all, an impediment to the observance of the Sabbath and the Jewish festival. One of the business week of the greater flexibility and children's sorry place determined these are removed most of the external pressure that made it difficult for the earlier generations. We will never forget what you did to that little. There we go. We got the trolls incoming. Even though work on the Sabbath was expanded today, there's been the power of management of the religious needs and employees and a greater readiness to follow this here. The absence of good employees wishing to assert their rights and legal protections for the basis of the Civil Rights Act. The Carpenter right to choose to ignore the Sabbath and business pressures and the intent to be great with explanations of the work on the but I think you have a bugger. Nope. No booger. Sorry. No booger on me. Hope you guys are doing good. I'm just doing some pre-sleep reading. I thought this would be a cool idea to do because, um, like, I had this idea of just reading, and like as I read, if I go live, like I can have convos passively while I'm like retaining the info I'm reading, and I could also talk about what I'm reading as well. Um, but I think it kind of gives like a different energy. So I think I like that idea of, I don't know where I forgot where I was thinking of this idea, but I think I'm going to do more of these too at night, where I just like read in live, and you know institutions. Okay. Until a decade or two ago, systems of the time of Torah was available as a great Jewish day school. With its atmosphere and intense program study was almost non-existent. A handful that existed 3 or 4 decades ago were all concentrated in the Jewish neighbors. Jewish high schools or schools or higher learning in the United States could be counted on the fingers. All this changed. Every city in America had a huge population of more than 7 on average. At least one day school. There are now refinery day schools throughout the country. Jewish high schools are more readily available, as are schools of higher Jewish learning. Jewish studies are now offered at countless American colleges and universities, and Jewish American-born and trained rabbis can communicate much more easily than the youth. Easily with the youth, opportunities for religious educational experience to fill periods of leisure, and retreats, Jewish camping, trips to Israel, to Nevada, uses to a degree that if they're to hit tier 2 unknown, conditions help make the task of raising individuals juniors much more than ever before. The hostile conditions of the contemporary by abject surrender and housing conditions are also present. It must be exploited. Requiring this rate upstream against the current, it's also sound like dead fish trip current. Live fish will upstream, and fish can do it on their natural habitat. Second people in there is rooted in fact in keeping with the entire history of the Jewish people who have historically been the first to challenge the idolatries. Others docilely accepted. Jews have contributed much to the spiritual progress of all humanity by acting to protect themselves against becoming spiritually engulfed by the antagonistic ideologies. The choices are clear. 1. If you choose to surrender to the Jewish environment, consciously participate in being indifferent and apathetic to the significance of consciousness, one can switch our culture into insulated Jewish communities that avoid all of the peripheral contact with the surrounding. That is one way to preserve an authentic humanity, or you should engage in spiritual confrontation with the environment. Even the family with very little judgment has this option. The faith, thus Pentaliyid, resides in every Jew. It needs only to be drawn out to become all aglow. The decision is to surrender. You can stop reading. You can stop reading. Choices for installation. The ghetto environment will decide for you. If you have chosen the third alternative, read on. It is our hope that this book will make a modest contribution in helping Jewish parents clarify goals, avoid some basic errors, and make sound decisions relating to the Jewish upbringing of each other. Man, it's going strong so far, guys, this book. So I'm gonna recap what I just learned. So in the book, in this chapter that I just read, it's talking about how the life, it's talking about the history of Jewish identity and culture, and how now more than ever it hasn't been easier to assimilate a true Jewish life, culture, What's going on, WS10? And so essentially where I'm at in the book, it's essentially saying that, there's three different routes a Jew can go. You can go the route of um, totally totally just not like totally going against um, identity of being a Jew, and just ignoring and being apathetic to your to who you are, and not bring any kind of Judaism into your life. Then there's a second where you are, but it's isolated, and you just stay within the confines of like your community and whatever. And but but now you're at the mercy of the community and the group that you're a part of. um, and there's no flexibility there. And then the third is, it talks about um, embracing your Judaism, your identity, and confronting just all of life, all of like society, and live a true life, and be strong and with integrity. And it also talks about how like this generation, it's never been easier. The older generations, it was tougher because it was harder to observe Jewish laws. Now it's never been easier, both in going to school and having the opportunity to learn, and working without restraints to practice. So we're living in a great day and age. So it's you know this guy again. Oh, come on, Justin, don't do me like that. Why are you guys all doing this to me? You guys have just joined me for my reading time. I'm reading a book, and I'm taking a new swing of live. I thought it would be a good idea to. Well, first, you guys missed my walk. I went on a walk earlier. I walked home from the office because it was really nice out, and that was interesting. But yeah, so now I'm gonna start doing like these cool like reading times. I took your advice, came home with two chicks, and my wife had a nervous breakdown. Tell me why she unfriended my best friend, and now she's actually showing me respect now. Bro, you're a legend, man. Dude, I really don't know if you're I don't really know if you're making this shit up, dude, but if that's real, I told you, Samson, it's real. You got to send me photos on Instagram. You got to send me messages of these chicks, or else I won't believe you. You got to show me the timeline, because I don't believe you. I want to, because it sounds legendary, but proof is in the pudding. So you gotta show me. You gotta show me the proof. What's going on, Justin? This Justin again? Come on, man. This Justin is always showing up and downing the party. But what's up, WS10? What's up, everybody? Daniel Berry's Sports Highlights is back. Happy Thursday. We're just doing a little light reading for tonight after a very well-deserved day. You should know it's true. I'm raising something very on theme for you guys, to raise a Jewish child. It's a very good book so far. Can't get any more Jewy than that. But bro, Samson, man, I need pics, dude. I want to see the proof, man. I want to see the real. I want to be able to tell my buddies, like, yo, look how I changed this guy's life. And these girls that you're bringing home, they should be like honored to be in that picture, that selfie with you both. What's up, JG? Oh yeah, it's actually really good. I just got to chapter 2, the basic values of Judaism. What kind of people do we want our children to be? It's a very good. I'm very excited to learn about. Like, I'm trying to prepare. Like, I'm what you consider about tshuva. So, um, I didn't grow up with Judaism, so I'm getting into it later on in life. And as I prepare to, like, eventually have a wife and kids one day, like, I want to be able to raise my kids with certain values and morals and Jewish identity and stuff, and really like have
awesome, high quality family life. So, and a lot of people don't prepare for it. Like a lot of people just walk into like marriage and they just walk into having kids. They don't study, they don't learn, they don't know, they don't like grow, right? Like to have success in different realms of life, you need to prepare for those parts of life. I am wearing my yarmulke, yeah. Bro, you do look pretty Jewish, man. No offense, and I got you, man. And I don't know these chicks have husbands too. It's okay, bro. They have husbands too. Samson, I hope I meet you one day. Like I'm just walking on the streets, like you know how like some live streamers are like streaming, and then like a fan's like, "Yo, it's so and so from your stream." That would be so cool. So anyway, I hope I run into you one day, Samson, and we go out to a bar, and we just do we do it up. Um, well, I army or get a job. Well, I already run a business, so I guess that's your answer. Faith alone does not suffice. Entire moral, the religious system. Choosing a rest and emotion that faith to be meaningful. Most studies is one thing, but continue. Action is necessary companion to most study. Reviews are not the best. I am a good Jew at heart. What I mean by that is that as long as one means small and one's heart is in the right place, it does not matter what one does. Usually when it's decided it does matter. On the contrary, if one's actions are deficient, it really does not matter how well one's heart functions. What it is really in the heart. Understand that the seed of one pursues commit such purpose. As it how strongly one believes in the importance of charity, whereas one does not practice those duties. Yeah, that's a very big deal. I'll be figuring this life out for the rest of my life. Justin, were you just saying that earlier? Who was saying that? Um, Justin, I'm sorry to hear, man, that you opted out of children and marriage. Like, if you can, it's a huge blessing. It's a huge blessing to have kids in a family, and I'm trying to work my hardest to be able to make that come to life. Like, it's a big goal of mine to have a very big family and um, have many kids and have like a make it so like my future wife it's like optional for her to work and so that she can be a mom and really like um, really like enjoy and have the time to spend time with the kids and take care of the family, and those are all really like great goals to strive for myself, and that's something I've always wanted. If they feel like they have anyone to compete with you over, they lose respect. Wait, one thing about women is they love competition. They don't feel like they have anyone to compete with you over, they lose respect. Well, that's like very like secular thinking too, Samson. The women that I'm dating, they don't operate that way. It can be hard. My first wife took me 2 years to have a child. My second took 2 months, and my wife now, it's been 6 years, and she's still not. Bro, that's wild. That's rough, man. But hey, at least you have some kids. No, that's something to be happy about. That's a blessing every day. Yeah, that's true. And let their new husbands take care of them. What? And try to keep them away from me because I'm married. Ah, I gotcha. Yeah, that's tough, man. No discussion of the goals of a Jewish marriage would be complete without scholars and witnesses. You introduce friends or religious partners who also try to protect friends with his hand, all that friends with the right, right? Express at least
course, is all the more reason for Judaism to be appreciated and contributed individual. Sometimes I just want to go on a fishing trip in the middle of the ocean with their husbands. They probably really want to do that too. Not gonna lie, all husbands like low key probably wouldn't mind that. I would love to go on a fishing trip right now. Honestly, I would love to go to Cancun and go on a fishing trip. Learn how to fillet some new fish. I didn't catch your drift. No, when your husband, take care of them and try to keep them away because of it. Would you rather watch a tree grow or something something? Middle of the ocean with yeah. Well, I'm just saying like let's do the fishing trip. They're finding the individual. Trees in itself doesn't distinguish between the two municipalities. Each emanates from the leads to the other. It's possible that almost say many people have acquired a good Jewish education and are considered to be scholars if they lack some other information answers. Such people do not still learn everything they learn, or their education was deficient in some areas, or that human weakness together with their own limitations combine to undermine its effectiveness. No education can offer 100% guarantee basics. Basic Judaism is this other base as a view that man does. Were you offered a free shot centuries ago? Centuries ago to what? A free shot of offered a free shot? I don't know what that means. Choose the way in which he goes. A good Jewish education influence. Good Jewish education can influence God's decisions for correct behavior and does not automatically guarantee it. Oh, right. That makes sense. Bro, he's trying to make. Oh. No, I know he's trying to make the joke. I just wasn't giving it energy because I don't appreciate the joke. Understands this, it guides and instincts explain concerning the direction a person is to take. And here I want to the dead against his overriding guides. I put there for like dead books and kids who like to guidance from the dead. I finalize the rest that the man himself will make a choice of the God's man with nothing more than a roll-up program by the Almighty. So I have the good life from America reward the evil life and disturb no punishment. Yeah, that makes sense. Trying to get started on lunch is a character and his name, at least strong and established. That are deeply embedded in the entire fabric of Jewish characters and values. No attempt to unlearn concepts are clearly defined in the immense religious literature of Jewish people. They are the measuring rod by which I love. One of basically religious halacha rulings is as includes character, determine priorities, and define the way one relates to the world. Judaism strives to create people who reflect these values in their daily life. This is amazing. Hey, what's up, GJK? I love Jewish people. I don't know why people hate them so much. I really don't know either. Like, we're awesome, and like we're literally only like our main mission here on Earth is to literally make it a great time. Right? That's it. Yo, what's goose, bro? No, black people are not funny. Yeah, some people suck at humor. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know why. Well, I mean, there's a lot of speculation, right? But I don't know. I think for like what we're trying to bring to this world is already tough as it is.
Gosh. To love and revere God. The noblest spiritual virtues, trust in Judaism, is undoubtedly the love of God. The Hebrew expression of Ahava Hashem is in the passage known as the Shema. It is the central affirmation of God's unity as God by, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. You should be charged to love the Lord. Promises. You guys commit 58% of crimes. Hey guys, let's be nice here, man. We don't want to. This is good energy. We're all here chilling out. Like we don't have to be here, right? You guys are scrolling through, and it's a choice to be here in the chat. So it's like let's have a good time. You know, we're all being comfortable somewhere, trying to be around good people, be exposed to good people. As long as you guys are all fun and games in the chat. But I will put people in timeouts. I like this timeout thing. So don't worry, I will do it. And thankfully we have not had someone who had to go in timeout today. But usually there's like at least one person who has to go in timeout every stream. From the Shema just quoted, teaching lessons that both the good and the evil inclinations must be directed towards doing the divine will. That needs to ascertain whether every religious observant present is truly imbued with the capacity to truly love God as job and selfishly loved Him. It is not a love that easy to reach over. It remains an ever-present goal of the Jewish bystander. Sorry, let's not. Let's eat. I get it. Yeah, I mean, guys, like, let's eat something. I already ate today, so for lunch. I had a pastrami sandwich with eggs, with over easy eggs on it, and French fries. It was great. Came back online, I see, and at your usual spot. Yep. I'm at my usual spot, and I am reading a book. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm either at work at my command center, or I'm here. So. The spiritual stuff below the God, the Hebrew words for this concept are Yurat, Hashem, although it is often translated as fear of God, it does not mean fear in the same way as the one fear of the world does. It's hostile or dangerous situation. For this kind of fear, the Hebrew word is pachad. I am reading to Raise a Jew. You need to hold your phone. This is much more relaxing for you. You got tripod? Yeah, I have one of those things where you go like this, where it goes like that, and it keeps the thing the same, because we make a lot of content at work. Not just me. Eyal makes content for his BH Boss page, and we're gonna use this tripod when we want to make content. So. While Yurat Hashem does harbor notion of fear and punishment for wrongdoing, to limit the concept of Yurat to this discussion would be to define it in the most primitive form. Rabbi Abraham Isaac Kook, first Ashkenazic chief rabbi of Eretz Israel, regarded this form of Yurat as suitable only for the spiritually ill or weak. One or more spiritual level. Yurat connotes a sense of awe or reverence for the greatness and overwhelming majesty of God. The closest example might be the feeling of one's experience when coming before a powerful ruler or before a great and famous persona. The extra care that one exerts in one's dress, behavior, and manner of speech is the feeling is much more intense when related to the kings. Daniel, eat some Jewish tacos. Bro, it's 11:30 at night. I'm not eating. You know what? You know what I'll do, GJK? If you sign up to be a member of the Specian to be a Specian, I will get tacos. Or if you send me $5, I'll go get some Jewish tacos, and I will eat them on this chat for you, and I will wait until you show up, and I'll be like, I got tacos, I got them, and then I'll break them out of the fridge and I'll heat them up, and then I will eat those Jewish tacos for you, GJK. What is up, G Sesk King? Whatever. Religious upbringing, from children, the sense of reverence for the God that comes from contemplating Jewish tradition, prescribes a blessing to be recited. Blessing. Lord, how great are the works. You know what I have to do? I didn't want to do this. There we go. Is there something that you didn't eat, like a dietary restriction based on health or belief? Oh yeah, there's a lot that I don't eat. Well, I mean, first of all, I'm a carnivorous. I do carnivore, so I do carnivore about, I think, like 5 to 6 days a week. You know what? Wait, hold on, guys. Wait, can you guys hear me now? Testing, 1, 2, 3. I think the stream cut out because it was just a bad connection. Can you guys hear me? You guys hear me? Okay. So yeah, to go back to what you were saying, Snowflake. Yeah, there are dietary restrictions. You know, you can't have certain foods at some point. You know, like you have to wait. Like if you have meat or you have milk or dairy, you have to wait a certain amount of time. You can't have certain foods together. Obviously, you can't have pork. Um, but me personally, like I, I just do carnivore, Monday through Friday, and when it's Shabbat, when I go to services, I'll eat whatever. One day out of the week because it's Shabbos, so I'm not big on like bread and carbs, but yeah, I mean, but there are general like you have to have kosher food, you know, it has to be kosherfied. So, spiritual the sense of reverence for God that comes from contemplation, Jewish tradition, describes a lesson. There, when coming upon great season, and truly blessed art thou, that are like in the roost with me. The psalmist putting more responsibility. O Lord, how great are thy works. Yeah. A sense of awe towards God, which stimulates the study of should be a source of peace. Amazing Jewish tradition, sought first to prescribe a blessing to be said. When meeting a person who has digitally himself is acquiring system knowledge, blessed are the Lord, everything was presented the wisdom towards before scholar. Oh man, we're like exact opposites, Snowflake. I do not eat veggies, or I really don't have much fruits either. What's up, GJK? I don't see your $5 for my taco. I do eat all sorts of dairy products. Love them. Yeah, I can't have dairy. Well, you're the one who said that you wanted me to have a Jewish taco, man. What's up? Snowflake, you are missing out. There's some good food out there. You should realize that it is not humility and man. Bill suits those who choose God wisdom. We make the best vegetarian food on the planet. Trust me, I'm not missing out. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you have some fire food. What book are you reading? I am reading To Raise a Jew. Hey, what's up, Moon? Each day, prayer is songs at the beginning of his son is reverence for the Lord. Ethics go the Father's out. Where there's no wisdom, there's no reverence of God. Where there's no reverence of God, there's no wisdom. The interrelationship between true wisdom and reverence of God was stressed by Rabbi Kook. Torah. Lose weight. Yes, I am cutting currently. What do you think about the seven Noah high tribes? Do you have kids? No, I wish I had kids. I trying to find my wife to have plenty of kids. Hence why I'm reading To Raise a Jew. I'm preparing, I'm learning, I'm studying. Oh dude, no, I don't even want to know how much I weigh right now. I don't know how much I weigh. But I would love to be at least 175. It's actually really not. It's not necessarily a religious book. It's a book about how to perceive Jewish identity, culture, day to day living, how to raise kids, values, what's important. It does have religious elements in it, but um, it's not like primarily religious, if that makes sense. Papa, is it tough to have four savings account? No, they learned that at age 3. Where do you live? Are you on Long Island? Yes, I'm on Long Island. Yeah. In a relationship between true wisdom and reverence for God was stressed by Rabbi Cook. Reverence for God is the deepest of all wisdom, and serves as the fundamental basis for all science and all science. The latter can only float by the series of low and cannot quantize wisdom. Our 20th century generation, more so than those who foresee this, also appreciate the full impact of his words. This generation has seen achievements specifically value, not only to granting a life cost, this is we're going to destroy it as a generation that's since theories not only put too many good purposes, but also many ignoble uses. Yeah, that's very true. Um, have you ever been to Israel? No, but I would love to go. One is for family, one is for self. What are the other two? I don't know what he said. Uh, whereabouts? Well, I'm in Nassau. I'm in the Garden City area. I'm initially from out east. I'm from the Hamptons, but I moved out here because my business is out here. Where is Caramel Man? God bless Austrian painter. Yep. She's missing from the stream. Yeah. Caramel Man, man. I'm in GN. Does that say GN? I don't know where GN is. Can you what's GN? $50. What do you do for work? I run a finance and insurance company, and I have several startups that I'm trying to get off the ground that branch off of that business. Oh, GK, I can't lend you $50. Oh, Great Neck. Okay. Nice. Actually, I'm in Great Neck every once in a while. We do. I get together with the guys and their family. Chick who pushed 50 likes for you. Oh, you mean Carvana? You mean Carvana Snowflake, not Caramel. But I wanted to answer a question earlier, which was, this question: what is the difference between raising a secular kid and a Jewish one? So there is actually a lot of differences there. Um, right? I mean, like, you can take your pick, right? There's literally nothing across the board that is the same. So Dan is kind of a weird dude, but in a way that makes him. I love when he does these. Are you Persian or Ashkenaz? I'm Ashkenaz. I am Polish on my mom's side, and I'm Irish, Italian, and German on my dad's side. So anyway, I was saying, so really, GCEKKNG, you can really like take your pick across the board, and everything's different. Um, Papa, yes, that is not a secret as much as it an obvious secret. The more you give away, the more you'll receive. The more you give to life and the world, the more you'll get in return. You look like someone who would walk into a Chris Hansen. Oh, that's really good. That's a good. That's a dark one. Where did you go to college? I went to college out east, Suffolk County. What is the difference between? Okay, so going back to the question at hand, um, yeah, everybody should know because it doesn't just benefit. It benefits everybody. Everybody should be generous. Everybody should give. I'm giving right now. I'm going live in my bedroom as I read a book so that I can educate and be around good people and provide good energy. So I'm always trying to be in a place of giving back, you know? Why don't you have a seat? Yeah. Should the boys know the truth? Yeah. You went to Stony Brook? No, I did not go to Stony Brook. I went to Suffolk County Community College. Waste your generation. More so than proceeded us. Increase the full impact of the next word. For this is never this is you sense quality. Duration. This is I think it's not only good purpose, but also to the uses. Right. So. Uh, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I like Moses. Moses is pretty cool. No, it's not Moon. It's like a 2 year school, but I ended up going for like 3 years, and I went for psychology. So I know, I know a thing or two about people. Um, so to go back, what we were saying, right? Like, wait. So someone who grows up secular, they don't grow up really with a like an observant lifestyle, right? Because they don't have any religious like they don't really have any religious observance in their life. So nothing is really truly rooted in faith or tradition. And yeah, like if you live in America, for example, like you do have you do have like certain like symbolism throughout, and you have certain representations in culture like Christianity, right? Like so you have certain things in your nation that are permeated from like forefathers and whatever beliefs from them. You have a lot of Christian beliefs in society here, but that doesn't mean that you necessarily as a kid your family adopts those things for you, right? So one thing is like actually having that embodied in like having like your day-to-day life, like having certain things in it, right? And having certain traditions, rituals, beliefs, values, and having a certain family dynamic, right, day to day. So that's like a very one big difference. The other thing is education. Jewish people go to Jewish schools, day schools, high schools, whatever. There's a lot of like learning that you can do on just the religious side as a Jewish person versus someone who's obviously not who's secular. They don't have that exposure, right? They don't have that option. Uh, Moon, yeah, I have an Instagram. It's the same handle as all my other social medias. Um, so, anyway, I wanted to, because we're all tolerant here of all opinions, right? So, yeah, okay. So anyway, so going back to some more key differences. Um, I mean, again, the list goes on and on. I think, I think like, here's an interesting concept like dating, right? Even dating like people who are secular. Like, and by the way, I dated secular for like 28 years of my life. So dating secular versus trying to date, um, you know, religious as I've started to become, it's just a different kind of dating process, right? And it's serious and it's not casual, right? And you know, all of all of my all my dating experiences are rooted in community, mutual connection, whatever. Um, GJK, oh boy, I think I might have to put you in timeout, bro. Yeah, all right. Sorry, GJK. I had to put you in timeout. Yeah, I got rid of him. Um, so, is it true that young Jewish men consider women who aren't Jewish shik, shikkas? Well, like, it's just like, if you're going to talk, at least come up with something interesting. So, um, I mean, look, now knowing, like, where I am and where I'm holding in terms of my observance, it's like, I I appreciate the experiences I had, and I see why it didn't work for me. Um, and now going into the dating experience, more focused and more aligned with my values. Um, I just don't want to entertain anything else. And some guys, some Jewish guys, they will entertain women who aren't Jewish, and that's fine. I think everybody has different values. Everybody wants to keep and hold in their observance at different levels and what feels comfortable. Everyone's on their own path. But what's common from what I've seen is a lot of guys will date non-Jewish women and or like vice versa, and then it just doesn't work out because you get to a certain place where you like start running into like community challenges, right? Like, what, you're going to come to shul? Are you going to convert? Um, there's a lot more logistical uh, issues when it comes to values and and faith. Um, so I hope that answers your question. I feel it's important for a child to know his lineage, his culture, where he comes from. Without that, a person is just hollow yeah, yeah. I mean, I really think that there should be more of an incentive. Like, if you think about it, this country was kind of formed. Yeah, at the same time being respectful for someone else who has their own. Yeah, which can be different from ours. Knowing your past is what keeps ancients. Yeah, I mean, look, I think United States was formed originally like on a melting pot, and that melting pot of cultures and backgrounds has been diluted. Um, so like, I think there needs to be a reemergence of exploration into that, and I think people definitely need to rediscover what their lineage is and what that could mean for them as they grow older and what they do, and especially like me, like raising, like wanting to have a family and stuff. It's important to explore those things for yourself, because you are missing a part of life by not exploring them. So I do want to correct you real quick, G Sec King. So it just so happens that we talk about a lot of Jewish stuff here. Like it just slants that way. So this channel, if you go to like my videos and my content, I make a lot of content about being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, finance, tech, AI, dating, relationships, psychology, motivation. So I do cover a lot of different topics on this channel. For some strange reason, I never get the personal growth enthusiasts in my live streams. I always get people that just are very curious and interested in holding Jewish conversations, which is fine. It's great. And I'm more than happy to talk about it. Um, but I do want to say though, like it's more of like it's a silly thing. Uh, have you ever had to deal with any disdain or hate for being Jewish? Yeah, I have. I've been discriminated against. Um, 2 cents. I hope you're enjoying the hot dog. I have been discriminated against. Um, like sometimes I'm out on the street and people call me names, and people try to intimidate you and whatever. I mean, little do they know, like I know jujitsu. I can kind of take care of myself, but it's like ever since I was a kid in high school, in middle school and high school, I was bullied. I was told things, obviously. So I grew up with things, and even to this day, a little bit, I guess. Um, but most of this. Oh yeah, good joke. Yeah, I mean, look, is business Jewish? No. Is finance Jewish? No. Is technology, AI, relationships Jewish? No. I think you're just trying to make a coy joke there. I don't completely agree with that, but I do get your point. America was primarily made of Native Americans, as they had a unique culture. Okay, well, the whole Native American thing is a totally different conversation. I was just literally referring to, we had tons of immigrants come to this country of like a lot of backgrounds, Italian, Irish, whatever. And that eventually over the generations that kind of watered down. And now a lot of generation, like my generation and younger, and even like the generation older, my parents, they've started to lose touch with that with their background and their culture and stuff. KB Safai, we're really talking about anything that you want to talk about. The only thing about different cultures I care about is trying new food. Yeah, that's a good one. Shalom, what's going on? What's up, buddy? What is your favorite bagel? My favorite bagel is a toasted buttered bialy. Bialys are just like amazing. I love bialys. Um, I mean, a second to that is probably an everything bagel. So, yeah. 20th century generation wars. This generation that has this choosing. Oh, one of the generations that also seems that all community prison. Most people find it so much easier to fear over people than to fear over God. Not even what I said. When a person wants to commit an offense, he says to himself, I hope no man will see me. It's where the conclusion of the entire series was. When the moral is not wise, well, and for law, we shall reveal the Lord assembly. I am the Lord your God. And the one is the our mouths. Can I ask a really random question? Snowflake, you can ask any question your heart's desire, but it's non-conditional. I don't have to answer it. But you can fire away. I don't get the whole hate the Jew thing. Like, who cares who you are? Stuma, You are literally hitting it right on the nail on the head. I did grow up secular. Yeah, I grew up secular. I didn't grow up with really any understanding or knowledge of Judaism or how to live a Jewish life. Yeah, I went to regular public high school, public middle school, public elementary school. Have you heard of Casolo? No, I have not heard of that. Where there's no big conscience, education, stress. You're about Hashem adds strength and courage to the human soul and adds purpose and spirituality. When did you want to learn more about your heritage? So that's a great question. I think people are just jealous of people who are successful. Yeah, probably. Keeping you in prayer during your time of explosive. So to answer your question, Papa, I started. It was always on my bucket list to learn more about my heritage and to see if this was something I wanted to do. So I was living in Florida, I would say about 6 years ago, and while I was in Florida, I had a mentor, a business mentor who was actually Jewish, and he introduced me to a lot of people, and through some of the people I met a buddy's dad, and he was like, when you're ready to explore your Judaism, let me know, I'll take care of you. And halfway through COVID, I moved to Texas, and I told him, hey, I think I'm ready to explore my Judaism, I want to learn more. And dude, this guy is awesome. He hooked me up with my first rabbi in Texas. He sent me my pair of tefillin that I still pray with today, because every Jew has to pray every day with tefillin. And I just, I owe a lot to him. He really got me started in the right direction. Without him, I really wouldn't be where I am today in my observance and what I want to do with my life. So, it really goes to show you that really only one person can change the trajectory of your life. You can be on one path, and from a flip of a switch, you can be on another path and slowly go in a different direction. So what are you reading? I am reading To Raise a Jewish Child. Whatever name is yourself with, he wrote to the word right, which means Christ for human beings, provide to it. To you. You have kids? No, I do not have kids. So I'm just preparing to have kids. I'm learning and studying so that I'm well prepared. Does it tell how to control the weather? It does not say. Actually, I think that's chapter 7. We're getting there. We're getting there, Billy. Able to do not do to your fellow man. He was even remember the same when he said, love all people and draw them close to Torah and broken chain of tradition. This value continues to be absolutely weak scholars and times and true. Love all people and West Pulsate in one's heart and soul and love every human being. Still expressed by desire to assist and to each other with foundation must be careful. Do you have a Torah nearby? Actually, I do. I do have a Torah nearby. It wasn't my read of choice tonight, but it will probably be my read of choice over Shabbat. So, may you not release oh my gosh. Did you find anyone to have kids with? I'm still looking. I'm just going to do a live stream every day until I find my wife, This teaching requires one to see the good inherent in all people, even if their beliefs and their way of life differ from that followed by to emphasize the love of all people.
Especially that's true. They emphasize promotes the love of all Jews. Ahavayat Israel. Be careful what you eat. Yeah, yeah, Cody. Cody, you are now my gastroenterologist or whatever. Did you find anyone I was with? No. I hope I find her soon too, Snowflake. Um, I would love nothing more than to wake up every day with the family I love and kids I love and my wife and kids and all that stuff. Um, Putting myself out there, that's all you can do. No shiksa though. No. I got matchmakers. I got. By the way, I actually I deleted a lot of apps the other day, like because I don't need them. I figure I'm just gonna market myself on social media and go through matchmakers. Because matchmakers, you know, using a matchmaker is pretty cool because they hook you up with good people. What are your thoughts on the Israelites and the up and down cycle? The wrestling with God, they prosper, they offend, they destroy. And the cycle repeats. Does that summarize some of the teachings? Yeah, I guess in a way. Okay, where was I? By wrestling, do you mean rejecting and then following? Yeah, I mean there is like a push and pull sequence of events. Uh, let's see. So organization, don't hate your brother and your heart. Like one can be suspicious of those who incline. They have their own hearts. Love the fellow Jews. They're all also tend to relate. Sympathetic. I have yeah history now. Let me see if I can bring this a little closer because it's getting harder for me to see. I'm getting so tired. Human condition, we do good and we fall, and all of us, by the way, not just the Jews. Yeah, that's a good observation, Papa. I'll only think of dating again once I enter the second year of my postgrad. Are you reading the Torah? Nope. I am reading to raise a Jewish child. Well, I mean, Moses was getting the law right after they escaped Egypt, right? And he comes down the mountain, and what is everyone doing? Building a golden calf. Yeah, that's a. And by the way, we just passed the holiday of Shavuot, which is receiving the Torah, right? Yeah, and it's interesting because I mean, yeah. So without getting into a whole thing, you're right, and it's crazy, right? That you have God um, having all these miracles. You have Moses, our shepherd Moses, you know, establishing the laws with God for a moment on the mountain, and then he comes down, and like it's like guys, what you couldn't even wait, a couple weeks for me to continue on with all these miracles, and um, yeah, it just shows that God made us imperfect. There's a lot of lessons there. Was getting the law right after the skaters right. He comes down the mountain.
What is everyone doing? Yeah. Do you see, from a Christian's perspective, between that event and the rejection of Jesus? Oh, like when he was like sacrificed or whatever. Um, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, there's actually quite a few parables there. It's quite a few parables. He was also performing miracles, and you know he was crucified, right? But in this instance, though, Moses came down. There was no penalty really. God was about to just like put the smackdown on the Jewish people when the whole golden calf situation happened, and essentially Moses bartered. He negotiated with God and said, "Hey, like forgive them, right? Like we'll take care of it. We'll redesign. We'll update these commandments. We'll come back down, and just like give us a chance here, right?" And he kind of called God out, saying that like he would never do that again, right? And so uh, it's interesting that in that situation he actually negotiated with God. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Ahava Israel by a sense of responsibility that she's responsible for one another. Sukkot, the Etrog, which possesses the body of tastes. Oh, nice. That's a cool thing. Anyway, guys. Oh wow, it's 12 o'clock already. It's 12 o'clock, and I read up to the next kind of mini chapter. So I will put this away because I really want to wind down now. Oh, there we go. All right, now we're here. Now I can like hang out with you guys. Can you describe to me what a Zionist is? Is it good? You gotta hate a lot to nail them to the cross. So, great question, Stuna. So Zionism, there's a lot of different ways you can define Zionism, but the way that I register Zionism is it's really like a past event, right? Zionism in my definition book is it's the right for, well, it's current and it's also in past tense, right? I think Zionism for me is the right to return to Israel, to have our homeland, a right to exist, right? And essentially, half of that has already happened. There already was a great aliyah, and there are people continuing to do aliyah back to Israel, and so we have returned to Israel. So that's already happened, right? But also, what we've always struggled with was the right to exist, the right to live, the right to have freedom, the right to not be persecuted. In every country on the face of the earth, there's been persecution of Jews, right? So now we finally have our place back to live in peace, well, somewhat peace, and to live an abundant lifestyle of our own freedom, you know? Um, is Judaism a monotheistic belief? Yes, it is. So yeah, to answer. So I hope I answered your question. So for me, uh, there's a lot of different. There's a lot of people out there who would define it differently, but I'm just summarizing here. Zionism is the right to return to our homeland and our right to exist, our right to practice and serve God, our right to exist and live a free life, and to live a life, um, in Israel. Uh, what would it take for you to believe in Jesus? Well, nothing, I guess. There is, unless Jesus literally showed up, you know, and made the world a heaven like it's made the world its own heaven like it's supposed to. We're still waiting for that to happen. Oh my God, Down syndrome Jesus just killed me. That's hilarious, guys. Dude, every time I think that someone can't make me laugh on a stream, like I've seen it all, someone comes in and they do make me laugh. That is so random, and I love it. Um, yeah, I actually do. I would love to relocate to Israel. I feel like I would. I feel like I would relocate to Israel later on in my life. Not now, but or maybe, but I think I would need to do a couple things first here in the States. In Britain, I can't say I want my homeland to be for my people without getting arrested. Yeah, you don't live in a free country, my man. I'm sorry to hear that, D. But as a non-Jew, could I move to downtown Jerusalem, buy a house, and live happily ever after? Yeah. You can immigrate to Israel. You have to go through the process. You can become a citizen. You can live downtown. You can buy property. Go for it. So, what would it take for you to believe in God then? Well, of course, I believe in God. Okay, piece of feet. The Celtic Holocaust happened to my people. Nothing has been done to rectify it. That is really tough. Um, yeah, that's a tough thing. But anyways, guys, is there anything? I mean, I don't know how we get here, honestly. Um, I'm just taking this as a sign from YouTube that YouTube wants to see more Jewish creators, honestly, and I'm just being chosen. I'm just gonna make more Jewish content. And just as I say that, the followers go from 13 to 9. So I don't know. YouTube, make up your mind. I don't believe in any gods. None have ever proven themselves to actually exist. I don't know about that. I have not done my DNA test yet. I think people want to talk more about God. Yeah, I think so too. I think that's something that's like a very missing component that was very prevalent years ago. We look at the early 1900s, the late 1800s, and going backward from there. Faith was a big part of most of people's lives. Like it was very prevalent. Yes, Stuna, I probably will one of these days. Well, so first of all, the biggest challenge KBSify is um, like like I don't even want to really get into this right now. Honestly, it's not something I feel comfortable talking about so late at night. There's essentially nothing that would make me believe in Jesus. So there's like literally nothing. Um, I believe he was a real dude. He could have been a real dude, and that's great. And I think he probably stood for great things. But that's really as far as they go on the topic. Current definition of secularism. Um, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much Snowflake. Meanwhile, I still have Armani hitting me up on Instagram, guys. You guys remember Armani? Current definition, yeah. Yeah, it was a weird twist for me. Um, so if you want to sleep and had a prophetic dream, just like your namesake, where Jesus came to you and told you he is real and wants you to follow him, and he is sent by God, you'd ignore him. Yeah, yeah, Snowflake. Armani like still hits me up on Instagram. So KBSFI, no, I literally like it's a very like it's a very arbitrary like hypothetical because for that hypothetical to exist, I would have to have a basis of belief that it could potentially happen. And because I don't believe it could ever happen, I couldn't technically unconsciously think it could exist. If that makes sense, right? It's like saying you like like if by chance you had a dream that like a bike could hover into the air. It's like, well, it can't. I mean, that's also not how my brain works. Like, but it can't. So why would I imagine or dream of a bike floating in the air, right? So I mean, some people think differently, but I just don't think that's a great. It's a great example. If Jesus were to come into my dream, it definitely wouldn't be for him to say, "Hey, believe in me." Um, yeah, and I think, and here's the thing, like, he who hath not the Son has not the Father. Yeah, that's where there's like a divergence, right, with Judaism and Christianity, and that's why Christianity supports Judaism, and not the other way around. Of course, Moses was Jewish. Of course, he was Jewish. Yeah, I mean, like the way that you could see it is, Christians support Judaism, right? That's great, and I think Judaism, Jewish people, or the Jewish community may appreciate a collaboration because they still believe in the Old Testament. Um, I think, in a lot of ways, like to think very meta about this topic, I just consider, people who are Christians or Catholics, progressive, progressive, progressive Jews in a way, like not Jews because they're not Jewish, but progressive, progressive. I don't even know what's the word I'm thinking of. I would say maybe just progressive observers of Torah, if that makes sense. So essentially, I think Christians and Catholics, I mean, in my opinion, it's like they are. It's like they are. I would say that they're um, observant observers, or I really actually I don't really know of a good word here. Maybe you guys can help me out. Like I think that like they're like I think they're like supporters. Like they're essentially like they're essentially following Judaism, but like a I don't know if the word's Neo Judaism or Neo Judaism or something, but they're just following like an enhanced like they're following a version of Torah that was added onto, right? So there is some like appreciation there because there is like they are still following Torah in some in many ways, but it's confusing. Um, well, his name wasn't Moses; it was Moshe. Um, the live stream, whenever it steers into religion, yeah, I appreciate Snowflake. Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree, Papa. That's how it should be. Everybody's on their own. Oh, let me see if I can. Everybody's on their own. Oop, everybody's on their own journey. We look at it like this: Old Test tells us why we need a savior. New Test is that savior story and his message to us from the Father. Yeah. I'm a Hindu, I practice my belief, but if someone tells me about Muhammad or Jesus or Buddha, I acknowledge that as a real God messenger, maybe because of the polytheist. Yeah, I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, there is only. I really think there is only one God. I mean, you could literally like even if you're not religious, you can rationalize that and make it make sense objectively. I mean, that's what like pantheism is. Pantheism is like the belief that all is one. Every quote unquote God is a reflection of the same thing, right? There's like a unity of there's a unification of one entity or one known like originating source energy, right? Something that's everything's permeated out of like the original, like the one. So yeah, I think I mean those are my thoughts, and I think by the way, I think it's not only flawed faith, but it's flawed logic to suggest that if there's any intermediary, you're automatically introducing idolatry, which is the ironic part about Christianity for me. And I talk about this with my friends that are Christian, and I they bring it up sometimes, but I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me that you'd have a middleman to have access to God, right? Why not have that direct connection, which is what Judaism is all about. Bro, there's a great Papa. There's a funny joke about atheism. It goes something like, I forgot how it goes, but you can find it online. And it's something like, like atheists believe in a God. They believe in nothing, right? And when you ask an atheist, what do you believe in? They say nothing. You're okay, great. Well, after you die, where do you go to? Nothing. Okay, great. So you go back to your creator, right? And then what happens after you go back to your creator? You become one. Ah, so you become one with your creator? That's like I forgot who said that. I'm butchering the joke, but it was like a comedian said that. Um, ultimately it goes into the ocean. No, I saw it. It's like multiple rivers all over the world merge into one large ocean. Yeah, that's literally pantheism. Yeah, I hear you, Snowflake. Yeah, but see, this is where there's also this is another theme of divergence here, right? Is that Christianity and Catholicism really focuses on this sin and this philosophy is of separation, and in Judaism that separation doesn't have such a doesn't have such a pessimistic energy on how it relates to our relationship with God, right? And there's still sin in Judaism, but the sin and being imperfect is more of it's always a theme of a work in progress, and there's optimism, and um, there's optimism within being imperfect, and I think the relationship of sin is different in Judaism than it is in Christianity. Um, which, by the way, is one of my biggest deterrents. When I was way younger, in my early 20s, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to believe in, because I was agnostic at the time, I immediately ruled out Christianity and Catholicism because of their interpretation of imperfection and sin. The logic of that how that religion views um, the relationship of God and the imperfection, the separation of God, um, really rubbed me the wrong way, and it made no sense to me. Um, and that kind of relationship still makes no sense to me. Finally, a Christ. This is not a Christ stream. This is actually a Jewish stream. You're on the Jewish stream channel. So you think God likes sin? I don't get what you're saying. So no, what I'm suggesting is how it was explained. Like Christianity definitely has its own outlooks and perspectives on sin than Judaism does, and that creates a certain energy and attitude and relationship with God. Um, you have to remember in Judaism, when you believe that the Ten Commandments should be broken. Well, no, the commandments shouldn't be broken. Um, so what I'm saying though is, you have to remember, like, it's just really hard because Christianity and Judaism are coming from two different places when it comes to a lot of things, and because a lot of those things are intertwined together, you can't really one off and argue one thing. Like, for example, like we're talking about sin, you can't really just talk about sin because you'd also have to talk about its relationships with those attitudes of other things, right? Like idolatry. Thou shalt not kill. Yeah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Well, it's not that you shouldn't kill. You shouldn't murder. How I explain the relationships between Judaism and Christianity was by my friend. He told Buddha was born into a blah blah blah. Oh my God, where are we going with this? You want to become a sage, and knowledge, then to become Buddha, and Buddhism was established. Interesting. Love one another as I have loved you, so love one another. Yeah. Does the Christian golden rule pass a heat check-in? Yeah, well, that's where it originated in. It originated in Torah. It originated in what you would call the Old Testament. I actually just literally read. It actually just referenced that in the book I was reading. I can actually let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I will read the exact what I was just reading. Hold on. Hey, it's Carvana. So look, the love neighbor is so. Let's see if I can find this. So guys, so I want to read this. I want to read this part to you guys. Okay. What? So to love. So literally, I don't know if you guys can see this. It says to love your neighbor, right? So this is for you, Papa. So I want to read this section, okay? Paralleling the love and reverence for God is the Jewish tradition's emphasis upon the verse in the Torah, "Love your neighbor as yourself," Leviticus 19:18. The Hebrew text uses the word "ra'acha," which means more than neighbor. It implies fellow human beings. Uh, it implies fellow human beings. Rabbi Akiva called that verse the great principle of the Torah. When the great sage Hillel was asked to summarize the essence of the entire Torah, he quoted that same verse, adding the explanation that its practical implementation is in terms of what is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow men. He was even more direct in the statement attributed to him in the Mishnah when he said, "Love all people and draw them close to Torah." In the unbroken chain of tradition, this value continues to be emphasized by the great scholars of the 20th century. Rabbi Cook writes, "The love of all people must pulsate in one's heart and soul, the love of every human being individually and of all nations collectively, expressed by a desire to assist in their spiritual and mental growth, material growth. Hatred must be directed only towards the acts of evil and the corrupt deeds in the world. This teaching requires one to see the good inherent in all people, even if their beliefs and their ways of life differ from that followed by the Jewish people, and demands that one give others the benefits of the doubt." So, to love thy neighbor should be transcending in many different ways. So it's actually to love God with all your heart and mind and soul, and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. There you go. So in essence, when you put God first, which is the cardinal rule, like it's one thing that you should always be doing, when you put God first and you love God and you welcome him with that intensity, that love becomes you, and that love that you have for God becomes you, and that love that you have for yourself from your relationship with God emanates to your neighbors, to everybody around you. What's up, Caravana? I am rich in live stream viewers. Caravana. His soul is rich. Yeah, I was gonna say that first, but I didn't want to be like cliche. I was gonna just go with the funnier version of that. Let's go. Carvana in the house. Idolatry is when you put anything above God. Idolatry is when you put any. So here's the interesting thing about idolatry. It's not even just putting anything above God, it's putting anything before God and in between you and God. And anything that creates distance between you and God. So there's many different meanings to idolatry that go very, very deep. Most people just think of like the one singular interpretation that they've always known about idolatry, some kind of like statue that you pray to. But that's really just like 101 idolatry. There's idolatry 102 and 105 and 110. There's a lot of deeper levels of idolatry. And that's what I was referring to earlier about my position on Jesus and how he's in between, right? He's an in-betweener with idolatry. which is the ironic thing about Christianity is that, there's extreme idolatry in Christianity and Catholicism. There's actually more idolatry in Catholicism than there is Christianity, I think. Um, what's up, WS10? What's good? What's good? How are we doing tonight? It's a good question, Amazon Lizard. How far do you... So, this is also another great question. I believe that Israel should defend themselves. How far do you believe is that a topic you won't discuss? Yeah, I mean, look, you have to think about it like this, right? You have one small little country that is literally surrounded by a whole bunch of other countries that want to annihilate and destroy it. Not only just the country, they want to annihilate and destroy all Jews from the face of the earth. Um, when there's one chink or one dent in the armor of Israel, all of the worst groups in the world band together and come to the front lines to get the opportunity to obliterate Israel. So um, it's unfortunate that that happens, and it's unfortunate that as we speak right now, there are missiles, being launched, hoping to destroy buildings and whatever in Israel, and that's just the reality. So, yeah, Carvana, we are keeping it light. Don't worry. I don't think there's anything wrong with praying to a statue. Yeah, it's just a difference in belief, Snowflake. It's not a big deal. Catholicism is a sect of Christians. Yep. The name of anyone that believes Jesus, Catholics are sect of people who follow Jesus. And yeah. And by the way, I had an ex-girlfriend, and I tried having this conversation with her, and she just flipped out, and I was just like, I mean, like, you can't say there's no idolatry, like. Um, but worshiping Jesus isn't idolatry. Jesus was God incarnated. So yeah, that's the big distinction, KB's flee. That's the big disagreement that we have, right? Not just me, but just in general, right? Like, it's like Jesus is essentially, like, we don't believe that, he's God, and I don't think people should believe that Jesus is God. He's not. He's not God incarnated. I don't believe. I think he's a big distraction of people, because like here's the thing, like, your life really does change when you practice your relationship with God directly. Anytime there's anything in between you and God, it's not a good thing. It's a warped interpretation of that with that relationship. Um, so that's what I believe, and that's that's just how it is for us. Bro, Papa, they still offering burnt offerings. They still slaying they're still doing a lot of like old stuff in Israel. Um, they're still doing a lot of the old ritual stuff sometimes. I don't really know what they do actually, like what exactly they're still doing, but they're still doing some of it. But you can't, because you're not pure, um, which is why God sent Jesus died for sin, so you can be. Yeah, but That really doesn't make sense in a lot of different ways, unfortunately. Look, I'm not trying to have a Jesus conversation right now, because God forbid I had a dream of him and he comes into my dreams. But um, yeah, Papa. There, so there are deeper meanings for the sacrifices. I just haven't gotten there yet. Um, yeah, yeah, KB Sophie, do you accept homosexuality? Not really, but ironically, one of the best places for gay people to be in the world is Israel. Israel is actually, I think, like ranked number one for like culture and popularity. Tel Aviv Tel Aviv is like Israel is like top one of most wanted to be at, like most what do you call it, like just a popular, like populous whatever. So ironically, gays in Israel is a very big thing. It's one of the best places to be, and ironically one of the worst places to be anywhere else in the Middle East. I mean, and also too, I think it's like when you say accept homosexuality, right? It's like, yeah, I mean, I guess people are gay, and it's like, it's not like gay people still show, like gay Jews still show up to like services, like they still believe, like they still are part of the community. Like we don't shun them because of like of that, right? Um, Judaism is very accepting of, you know, of those kinds of, it really depends. Obviously, it really depends on what, where you're located, right? Like if you're gay and you're like a part of a Hasidic community, you're gonna have a tough time. But if you're like attending a reform or a Chabad or something that's like lower, well, I wouldn't say Chabad's lower, but like if you're in a community that's more accepting, that's like reform or conservative, then yeah, it's a little different. So yeah, they're still welcome, to some degree in certain levels. Just depends. Like the higher you go in observance, the less intolerant they are of accepting, you know of accepting in general. KB Safi, I will. I don't have a. I will remember. I will. So between now and my next, well, so here's the thing, guys. I don't go live. I'm gonna go live at the office tomorrow for a bit, but I won't be live like this time to not tomorrow because it's Shabbat, so I'll be off the grid. But I will remember, and if I forget, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna do my best tomorrow to remember. KB's 5. Daniel 7:13 and 14. And if anything, just remind me. By the way, I wanna bring up a very important topic. I want to bring up a very important topic. I just found out today that my friend, I don't know what it is, what type it is, but my friend's starting a business, and he invited me to some kind of like virtual launch party of his business. And it's so, I just want to say, whether you don't know someone very closely or not, it's so important to support friends, Like, put your ego aside and support people you know that are putting themselves out there, right? Let me tell you guys something. You guys know that I just started making content, and I've been doing content like every day. Like, some of you guys have been here on this very short journey that you've been on with me, and I'm very appreciative of that. And for the month, almost month and a half of doing this, I would say I'm approaching a month and a half of doing live and making content every day. And so, of the time, the amount of people that have actually went out of their way to say, hey, you're doing great, this, that, and the third, surprisingly, I've actually gotten like maybe 3 or 4 people, 5 people, but it's only because I'm in the conversation with them. I'm catching up. Nobody's going out of their way to message me, to support me, to subscribe. Like, some are, but you really, like, put yourself out there. Like, if there's someone that is doing something that show them that support, because it does mean a lot to them. They do see it. They will remember it, and it fuels them. The challenging part about supporting people in new endeavors is that we always want to compare ourselves to where we are, and because other people are taking that initiative and we're not in the same way, we seldom don't encourage and support folks that we know. But here's the thing about that. The interesting thing about supporting people, and I actually just did a couple like content about this recently, but like, we're all on our own timeline. So, right, not only are we all on our own timeline, but we all are designed to bring abundance to this world in different ways. So, if someone Sally, creates a business, and it's like in, I don't know, construction, right? Support it. Do what you can, because you're not doing the same thing. You're in your own lane. You're in your own timeline of what you're doing with your life. And when you support other people, people recognize that energy. That energy is reciprocated. Joe Schmo, let's go. I still owe you 15 minutes. Joe Schmo, if you email me, I will respond, and you can book a general book with me, a general booking thing, and we can hop on a Zoom call and we can just hop. Remember my email. Joke is played out, AJ. Yeah, it is. So anyway, guys, I hope. So I bring that up because, like I just said, my friend, he's starting his own business, and I'm like, as an entrepreneur, as someone who's a business owner, taking huge amounts of risks every day, like, I can only do nothing but support people who are really trying to pave their own way. That's true, KBZ. Peace fee, yeah. Literally. If you catch me on a slow, which, by the way, it's very, very far few in between, but if you catch me looking at the screen, because I have like 3 screens, and one of them is like half of YouTube or half of my streaming thing. So if I just happen to, and I look at them and I chat back now. I'm trying to be more active on chat, responding back to people text wise. And I apologize for those of you who watch the stream and they're like, I wish he would take himself off mute. A lot of the conversations that happen in my office are very private because, I'm one of the bosses. So, we're always talking about very sensitive things, but whether it's employees or strategies or just business stuff that we can't disclose. So a lot of the time it is muted. I'm sorry, but I do try to chat back, try to respond in the chat when I'm at the office. I'm just trying to make time. I'm in Death Street and in Los Angeles. We're super busy. Let's go, Joe. Yeah. Yeah, KB Safi. I'm one of the co-partners of BH. and same thing for SMS launch AI and broker launch. And I would say I'm going to be a majority owner of when we launch like our life insurance, like our insurance advisory side of BH. Because that's mostly me. So I'm just trying to make time. I like Joe Schmo's attitude. He's got good energy. What's up, Starboy? I've seen you before. I've seen you, Starboy. What's going on? Good conversation tonight. I'm probably gonna clip this up tonight or tomorrow. I want to clip it up before Shabbos, and I wanna launch because I think we've had some good combos. I think we've had some good discussion in the stream tonight. What are we doing? What star? Starboy. We were talking about a lot of religious stuff earlier. I'm kind of happy that we pivoted. Yeah, man. Oh, I already forget. It's Daniel 13 something, right? You wanted me to read? Hold on. Daniel. Shit, I forgot. See, I forgot already. You wanted me to read Daniel something. I like to show folks how scriptures connect. Some love if 7, 13, and 14. Hey Siri. No. Hold on, you know what I'm gonna do? 7, 13. I'm actually just gonna take a screenshot. There you go. All right, now I remember. Now I'll remember because I have the screenshot. Appreciate it. So yeah. Shabbat starts like pretty late in the evening tomorrow, so I will be around. I like to show folks how scriptures connect. Some love, and some get mad. Yeah, we're always gonna have people that don't want to receive. You know. But with that being said, I think it's time for me to go and get some sleep. I will probably go live on the command center tomorrow. Watch out for clips of this video. I'm probably gonna clip this up, and I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully, I see you guys a little bit tomorrow. Hopefully, I see you guys on the comments of any of my shorts or my content, and I'll see you guys around. I'll talk to you later.